I think that's how you say that. But really appreciate the 499. Maybe we need to run a fusion party, someone of the left to run as a Republican. We need to buck this two-party system that is killing us all. This is an interesting strategy. And one time we actually interviewed a guy in, I forget if he was running in Kansas. Yeah, he was running in Kansas. He's a socialist. He's a straight up leftist. But he was running as a Republican for Senate, I think, because you basically can't get elected in Kansas as a Democrat. And obviously, he didn't make it very far. But we interviewed him. He was a smart, interesting guy. Had an interesting time chatting with him. As for the strategy itself, it's definitely not something I'm opposed to. But I also just think, like, I don't know. It's going to be tough to pull that off because you're going to have people asking you all these questions. And what, are you just supposed to lie and say, like, oh, I'm actually anti-abortion and I fucking hate gay people, and like all the positions that most Republicans want to hear? Like, what, are you just supposed to lie about it? Like, people are going to realize pretty quickly if you're just like an actual leftist that's just running as a Republican. So I don't know if you're suggesting that, they should pretend to be a Republican until they get elected. And then they're like, oh, just kidding, I'm actually fucking a communist, which would actually be pretty based. But, I'm not sure how successful that would be. But again, I'm not against it. Anything you got to do to win is, I guess is important.
Yeah, I started working on a short story one time that was supposed to be like a satire, right, about how everybody runs as a leftist and then immediately turns into a corporatist as they're elected. And, they would just run as an extreme corporatist and then like actually switch to like defending the people once they've been in office, and then they would get killed at the end of the book or the short story, right? Because that's what always happens when anybody tries to fucking defend the people in this country. We just take them out with a fucking sniper rifle. Okay. So that being said, it would kind of depend on, my response would depend on if you're talking about literally like just pretending that you're a fucking Republican and then trying to win and feeding into all of those ideas and then, turning on a dime. And in which case I would say you need to invest extra in security. But the other thing is if your plan is to just run as a lefty, in the Republican Party, like it kind of goes against every criticism that we have of the duopoly, right? It's like, if it's fundamentally impossible to run in the Democratic Party because of all the corporate money, I don't think that they would let a leftist just win. And people would say, well, they let Donald Trump win. It's like, Donald Trump was not a threat to money itself. Donald Trump was a threat to the veneer of pomp and circumstance, right? Like the veneer of diplomacy was what Donald Trump threatened. He put an ugly face, to match the pig, right? Like to match what America was. He revealed it. He was actually the perfect emblem in my mind for what our country represents to so many people, right? This fat, fucking disgusting, rich, bloated asshole that's only self-interested, right? That's what America really, like, what a more honest fucking reflection of this country, right? So he was never going to be a threat to like institutional power structures in the way that like he was opposed to money. The dude was like a fucking, pretend billionaire, right? At least a fat millionaire at one point, right? So that would be my response to that, is that I don't know exactly how well that would work, but I'm open for anything at this point.
Yeah, 100%. So thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Really good question. Thank you.